This is the deposition of the witness that will be read into evidence.
We have the original defendant report.
Okay. Proceed.
Let the record reflect that this is the deposition of Carl Kazicki. Your Honor, would you like me to stand by the podium for the jury?
Sure, yes. Speaking to the microphone.
Let the record reflect that this is the deposition of Carl Kazicki.
Yes.
Taken pursuant to notice and in accordance with the applicable provisions of the Indiana trial rules and any applicable local court rules. Let the record reflect also that the witness has been sworn in. Mr. Kazicki, you met briefly. My name is Yolanda Cardona, and I represent the defendant, Sharon Otterson, in this matter. Have you ever had your deposition taken before?
No.
Okay, well, we will go over some ground rules very quickly just to make our conversation easier to take down in the court report. Keep your voice up so that the court reporter can hear your answer. When you give an answer, try to give a yes or a no. No uh-hs or nothing like that. She has a hard time taking that down. Okay. Also, please wait until I am done asking the question, and then you can answer. I will try not to interrupt you myself. If you ever want to take a break, please tell us. We will be happy to give you a break. The bathroom is right over there. However, before we do take a break, I would ask that you answer the question that is pending. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I'm going to ask you some background questions, and obviously we're here for the answers. Try to do your best in answering those questions, okay?
Okay.
Are you on any medication that can affect your ability to think correctly?
No.
Okay, can you please state your name and spell your last name for the court reporter, please?
Carl Kazicki. K-A-S-Z-Y-C-K-I.
Okay, and what is your date of birth, Carl?
4777.
Okay, are you married?
No.
Do you have any children?
2 boys.
What is your current address?
105 North Pennsylvania, Hobart, Indiana.
Okay, and how many years have you lived in the Pennsylvania address?
2.
Where did you live prior to that?
605 Main Street, Hobart, Indiana.
So you have lived in Hobart, Indiana since when?
Pretty much my whole life. Since I was about 13, I would say.
Now, who lives with you right now in the Pennsylvania address?
My girlfriend,
And what is her name?
Julia.
Okay, at the time of the accident, at the time of the April 16, 2011 accident, where did you live?
At 107 East 8th Street.
Court reporter says, I'm sorry, 8 or 8?
8.
Court reporter says, okay, thank you. Okay, and did you attend high school in Hobart, Indiana?
Yes.
Did you have any further education after high school?
High school.
Okay, what did that consist of?
I am a union laborer out of Valparaiso, Local 81.
Court reporter says, I'm sorry, I am a union laborer?
Out of Valparaiso, Indiana, Local 81.
Court reporter says, thank you. Okay, do you have a valid driver's license?
Yes, I do.
Do you have it on you right now?
Yes.
Can I see it?
Sure.
Please let the record reflect that I have been given an Indiana operator's driver's license with the name of Carl Kazicki, date 4777, and there are restrictions in the back of the driver's license, B corrected lenses. And please let the record reflect that I have now given the driver's license back. You wear corrective lenses then?
Contact lenses.
Contact lenses.
Yes.
And what do you wear those for? To see distance or to see close?
Everything really.
Okay.
I am nearsighted.
Okay, were you wearing them at the time of the accident?
Yes.
And how long have you worn them?
Oh, since I was a teenager.
So you have pretty much learned something to help you see your entire life?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Are you currently employed?
Yes.
And who is your employer?
Morrison Construction Corporation.
And how long have you worked for Morrison?
This job I have been on for 2 months so far.
Okay, what do you mean this job? Do you work for other companies?
Yeah, I work out of a hiring home. So we work for different contractors and do different jobs. And once the job is over, and we go back on a hiring list.
Sure, so basically the union sends you out to different companies.
Yes.
And you just so happen to be working at Morrison right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what are some of your duties, generally speaking?
I am in charge of manpower at Morrison for the labor division. The job that I am on now are support trays for pipe fitters. They are demoing out some pipes on a coke battery. So we are in charge of helping them get rid of the scrap. We are in charge of the fire safety. Like a support tray, kind of.
Okay.
You know?
Sorry, is that generally what you do, or is this specific at Morrison?
This is specific to this job.
Okay.
I do many different things.
Okay, in general.
There is like 96 different, we fill out a skill sheet, and there is 96 different facets of things that we do. So, I mean, I could be running a jackhammer one day, or I could be signaling a 50-ton crane the next, or flagging traffic, or pouring concrete, or working in a high-rise, or...
Did you consider this job physical?
Very.
In general, not just with Morrison?
Yes, very physical.
Okay.
Yes.
Were you employed by the union hall at the time of the accident?
Yes.
So you have been with the union hall for a while?
16 years, yes.
Not specifically with Morrison, obviously,
Right.
but just in general?
Yes.
Sure. How do you know Mr. Mark Deviak?
I met him at work years ago.
How many years ago did you meet him?
It has been over 10,
Okay.
but maybe not 15.
Okay, and so he is a coworker of yours?
At times, yes.
Okay, maybe he gets sent out to different companies?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
And how often do you see him at work?
At work, probably 5 or 6 times a year, we will end up on a job together.
And correct me if I am wrong, but these jobs may last months.
It may be one day, it might be a month, it might be a year, depending on what the job calls for.
Okay, now aside from work, how often do you spend time together?
Probably at least once a week, we probably see each other.
Would you consider him a friend?
Oh yeah.
Okay, what do you guys do when you guys do spend time together aside from work?
We fish, he woodworks, I get into a little bit of stuff like that. Tinker with the cars.
Okay.
Go to the beach.
Is Carl someone that, say, for instance, would spend a Christmas with your family?
We do. We have seen each other on the holidays before, yes.
Now, let me turn your attention to the accident in question today. The April 16th, 2011 accident. Do you remember the time of that accident? Do you remember the time that the accident occurred?
It was before noon.
Okay.
I know that it wasn't early in the morning. It was maybe like 8:30, 9 o'clock, if I recall, somewhere in there.
Okay, do you remember what day of the week it was?
I sure don't.
Do you remember what the weather was like that day?
It had just rained.
Was the pavement wet?
Yes.
So it was daylight, I presume?
Yes.
Okay.
Overcast, but daylight.
So the sun wasn't out, but it was definitely daylight.
Yes.
Okay, now prior to the accident, where were you?
At my apartment at 107 East 8th Street.
Okay, and what did you do the morning of the accident?
Probably some laundry.
Okay. And at some point you decided to go with Mr. Devian somewhere.
Yeah, he called and there was a sale on meat, I think, at the grocery store. So we were going to go pick up some food.
What time did he pick you up? Do you remember?
I can't remember the exact hour that he picked me up, but like I said, I know that it was before noon.
Now, you were the only passenger.
Yes,
Okay, where were you seated?
in the passenger seat.
And did you know the specific destination that day when he picked you up from your home?
I believe that we were going to Wisely.
Okay, that's where the meat sale was.
Yes.
Okay. And if you recall, can you tell me from the point that he picked you up and you got in his truck, what route did he take before the accident?
We were headed west down 8th Street in Hobart, Indiana.
And how was the traffic on 8th Street? Do you remember?
There was none. That I remember.
Okay, do you remember if you and Mr. Deviak were talking in the car prior to the collision?
Yeah, we were chatting a little bit.
Did you guys have maybe the radio on or anything like that?
No.
Okay, what were you doing as you sat in the passenger seat of Mr. Deviak's vehicle before the accident?
What was I doing?
Yes.
Looking straight ahead, I guess.
You didn't have like your cell phone on you, your phone on you,
No.
a newspaper or nothing like that?
No.
Okay, so you were just looking ahead,
Yes.
having a brief conversation with Mr. Deviak.
Yes.
Okay, and what street were you on?
We were on 8th Street.
8th Street?
Yes.
And you said earlier you guys were going westbound.
Yes.
Okay, now how long had you been traveling on 8th Street before the accident occurred?
It was only a few blocks, so maybe 30 seconds.
Okay, you live on 8th Street, right?
Yes.
So it was sort of,
He picked me up and we took off down the road heading towards Wisconsin Street that goes to the store that is interviewing me.
now he was already facing westbound, or did he have to,
I believe so, yes.
do you know approximately how fast Mr. Deviak was traveling before the collision?
He was probably going under the speed limit because he drives really slow.
Okay.
I would say probably maybe 30 miles per hour.
Do you know what the speed limit is there?
I think it is probably like 25 or 30 right in there.
Okay, and how do you know his speed? I mean, is there something that alerted you to his speed, or are you just kind of guesstimating?
Like I said, he is one of those people that you can't be in a hurry when he drives because he kind of cuts along. So I know that he was going the speed limit, if not under.
Sure. Do you know if there was any vehicles coming eastbound while you guys were?
When the accident happened, yes, there was one coming towards us.
Okay. Okay, now can you tell me in your own words, as you were traveling westbound on 8th Street, how did the accident happen?
8th Street has a couple big hills on it, and we were coming up to Washington westbound. And before Washington Street, there was a car parked on the hill here. We were coming up the hill, and the next thing you know, I saw this white Jeep pull out into the road. Mark hit the brakes. We went into a slide because where we were at, okay, here is the car. Here is the white Jeep. And here is a little bit of space between that and the street. When the white Jeep came out, we entered a slide. Mark corrected to go this way, where she was. And the next thing that you know, the white Jeep backed up and we collided with her.
Now, how far from the intersection were you when you first saw, her name is Sharon, let's call her Sharon. How far from the intersection were you when you first saw her vehicle?
Probably 30 feet, maybe.
Can you tell me in car lengths, maybe?
Probably about 3 or 4 car lengths.
Okay, and where exactly was she when you first saw her?
in our lane,
In your lane?
dead in front of us.
Okay. Do you know where she was when Mr. Deviak applied his brakes? First he applied his brakes.
In our lane, in front of us.
How deep in the lane do you think she was, or do you remember that she was?
She was taking up the whole lane with the front of her SUV. She went to go turn the corner and realized she must have pulled out in front of us. We were already in the slide. It happened so quick. And what Mark did is I think that he assumed that she was going to just go ahead and continue in front of us. And as we were sliding, he tried to go where she was. She threw it in reverse because she knew she was in our lane and backed up. And by then it was already, we were already within 5 feet of her.
Okay, could you tell what direction she was going when she was
It looked
in that lane?
like she was going to turn west onto 8th Street.
And
It all happened so quickly, but we didn't understand at first how, we were sliding. We kind of went sideways, and Mark actually adjusted twice. If he wouldn't have adjusted the second time, she would have hit me right in the window. He had a smaller truck, and if he wouldn't have adjusted the second time, I probably would have been seriously injured. So he kind of turned his truck to take the brunt of the hit on the front of his truck, as opposed to letting her car slam into my door.
now when you say adjust the second time, what was the first adjustment that he did?
Trying to straighten the truck out from a slide.
Okay?
And we were sliding straight at her, and he turned to try and miss her. And that is when she went in reverse. And he kind of turned. We were kind of this way. We were sliding this way in a way. And he turned the truck straight so that I didn't take the brunt of the collision on the side of my, the door.
Okay, so you are saying that as you're coming down, you see Sharon's vehicle in your lane of travel.
She was,
Or in Mr.
she came right out in front of us.
Mr. Deviak's lane of travel. Sorry, I will take that back.
Yes.
As a result of that, Mr. Deviak stepped on his brakes. And you began sliding.
And we began sliding.
Now it is your testimony that she backed up while you were sliding.
Yes.
Okay, and she so happened to back up to the point where Mr. Deviak's truck hit her.
Right.
Okay, now when you say the first time that he adjusted, he veered to the right or to the left?
He hit the brakes. The truck continued straight, but took a sideward pitch to it, like this. She was in our lane. He hit the brakes, and the truck started to slide like this. It kind of went off of the road like this, and he was steering to try and get us to where she was at. And as she backed up, I would have taken the brunt. So he adjusted this way and hit with the front of his truck, as opposed to letting me get hit in the door.
So do you know the point of impact from Mr. Deviak's vehicle?
Yeah, it was the right front, I believe.
So you're saying that the second time that he adjusted, he sort of moved the truck so that his side would get hit, not yours.
So the front would take it.
Okay? Okay, so other than stepping on the brakes and sort of doing these adjustments that you speak of, did he do anything else to avoid the accident?
He was doing everything that he could, I believe.
Okay.
Steering and braking and trying to miss her.
Okay. Okay. Do you believe that if Mr. Deviak was driving maybe a little bit slower, he could have stopped in time to avoid her car? Do you believe that if Mr. Deviak was driving a little bit slower than he was that day, that he could have stopped in time to avoid her?
No.
Okay, did he fishtail at all?
A little bit, yeah.
Did he skid?
Yeah, we slid for quite a while.
Were there any vehicles behind Mr. Deviak's vehicle?
No.
Okay,
Not that I recall.
okay,
But there was a vehicle coming eastbound.
okay.
And I believe that is why he didn't just try to go around the front side.
Okay.
Because that car actually even swerved a little bit, if I remember correctly, because I think Sharon startled them. The way that she came out of the intersection, off of her street, it was very abrupt. And it was almost like a delayed reaction. Like when she came into the R lane, she was hard on the brakes. You could see the car pitching forward. Like she had passed the stop sign and realized it and then hit the brakes. Her car pitched forward, and before it leveled back out, she was already going in reverse. It was like she pulled out, realized what she did, and threw it in reverse, and we were already sliding. And like I said, he was trying to go where she had just been to avoid hitting her. As we are sliding, she backed up dead in front of us again.
Okay. Do you think that after Mr. Devick applied the brakes, that he lost control of the car?
No, I don't think that he lost control.
Okay, what happened after the car collided?
We took a minute and we got out and we went to ask Sharon if she was okay.
Okay.
And she became irate with us, waving her arms around.
Okay.
Telling him that he hit her and what the hell was he doing. And we messed up her car. And so I believe that someone in the neighborhood called the police because they heard the collision.
Okay.
And the police showed up a minute or two later.
Did Mr. Devick move his vehicle from the point where the cars collided at any point?
It was so long ago. No, I think the vehicles just stayed there for a minute.
Okay.
We just stopped and got out.
When the police officers arrived at some point, you said that they got there. Was Mr. Devick's vehicle at the same location that it was when the accident occurred?
I believe so.
Was Sharon's vehicle at the same position that it was when the crash occurred?
Yes.
So how many times do you say that Sharon backed up? She backed up when you were sliding. Is that when she backed up?
Yes.
Was that the only time?
I believe so.
Did Mr. Devick move his car at all? Even after the police arrived?
That I can't recall.
Okay.
He may or may not have moved.
Okay.
I believe that he probably moved it out of the road.
Did you have any conversations with the police at all?
No.
Okay. Did you see any skid marks on the road? Or any type of markings to suggest that someone applied their brakes or anything like that?
No rubber or anything on the ground. Like I said, it had just rained for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, did you have any conversation with Mr. Devick about his injuries?
I knew that he was going to treat it for something, but I am not exactly sure what it was for.
Was that before or after the accident?
That was after the accident.
Okay, did you receive any injuries?
I was laid up a little bit, my knees were, and my wrist was sore for a while from bracing myself on the dashboard.
Did you receive any treatment for those injuries?
No.
Are you familiar with any of Mr. Devick's specific injuries as a result of this accident?
I know that he has got something going on with his neck.
Are you familiar with his medical records?
No.
What did you guys do after the accident?
We were kind of standing back in awe, really, of Sharon.
At this point, I'm going to object to the remaining of this question, starting on line 7 all the way to 20. The same objection that I made earlier to you, Your Judge. I just want to let the record reflect that I am objecting.
Rules.
Okay, what did you guys do after the accident?
Line 4, you can start. Is that where she's at?
We were kind of standing back in awe, really, of Sharon. And her plea with the police officers to put on the report that it was our fault. We were just kind of standing in awe at this moment. She was irate in the intersection, standing over the cop's shoulder as he was making the report.
Okay.
I remember hearing the police officer say, "Lady, let me do my job. I am not going to lie for you." And she kept telling the police officer, "Write down that they hit me. It is not my fault. Write down that it is not my fault."
And this happened after the collision?
Yes.
And how much time elapsed to when this conversation happened?
Maybe 8 minutes.
Okay, so it wasn't immediately after the accident.
No.
Sometime had passed.
No, once the police got there, they started to take the report.
Okay, are you going to be out of town next week, Monday, Tuesday?
No, but I do have to work, and it's hard for me to get out of work. It really is. Today was just a mistake. A half a day today was, I am the boss there, so I can't.
I understand.
And if I have to be are you talking about a trial or something like that?
Right. Next week, Monday and Tuesday, I just wanted to know if you would, if you are going out of town, or?
No, I will be in town, but I do have to work.
Okay.
I mean, if I have to be there, I guess I have to be there, but it is going to affect me in the long run.
Okay.
Number one, I don't have any vacation pay or anything like that.
Okay.
I get paid hourly, so when I miss work, it's money out of my pocket.
And this is with Morrison?
Yes.
And you are what we consider you a laborer?
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Let me ask you something else. Was there any sun in your eyes or in Mr. Deviat's eyes before the accident occurred?
No.
Okay, and you earlier stated that she backed up as you were sliding towards her.
Yes.
Where was her vehicle when the collision occurred? In perspective to the intersection.
It was on Washington Street.
So Mr. Deviat, when he slid from 8th Street because that is where you guys were traveling, right? Onto Washington Street.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Like I said, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like I said, he was trying to steer around her, and she backed up in front of us. And by then, he had no more room to make any kind of moves or anything to avoid her.
I understand that. Okay, I have nothing further.
I have no questions.
All right. Thank you. As our peak time, take a short recess. Before we call your next witness, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a short break. Once again, you're not to discuss the case with anyone other than yourself.